Welcome to LFC Transfer HQ, your ultimate source for all things Liverpool FC transfers. Like and subscribe for more football updates. Our first news is Sky Sports drop big evening Marc Guehi update as fresh talks underway. Bayern Munich are now understood to be looking concretely at Liverpool target Marc Guehi. The England international was the source of heavy interest from the Merseysiders in the summer transfer window. Crystal Palace were thought to be prepared to let the 25-year-old leave for a fee in the region of £35 million. However, the Eagles pulled the rug on Arne Slot's men in the 11th hour following a conversation between Guehi and manager Oliver Glasner. Liverpool's loss could yet be a European competitor's gain. Sky Germany's Florian Plettenberg now reports on X, formerly Twitter, that Bayern's head of sport, Max Eberl, is a big admirer of the English centre-back. So much so to the point that the Bundesliga champions have reportedly already held talks with the player's entourage with a view to snapping the player up on a free next summer. Bayern, Liverpool and Real Madrid are locked in a three-way battle. Leaving this transfer saga unfinished ahead of Guehi's contract expiring in 2026 was ideal for Liverpool. Bear in mind that Real Madrid will be looking to bolster their central defensive ranks, as both David Alaba and Antonio Rudiger are expected to depart next summer. In that case, Xabi Alonso's men will be taking a long, hard look at Marc Guehi, among other targets. Liverpool, however, for now do hold a key advantage. We've already put in a lot of groundwork with the player, to the point where the player had a medical in London ahead of a potential switch to Merseyside. Yes, the allure of Madrid and Munich can't be totally disregarded. But Liverpool are hardly some tin pot club with a history that stretches only so far as their last takeover either. Real Madrid like Ibrahima Konate and Dayot Upamecano. What complicates matters is that both Liverpool and Bayern Munich possess centre-backs who have also caught the Spanish giants' wandering eyes. Ibrahima Konate and Dayot Upamecano, both yet to sign contract extensions, are on the list. To add further complexity to the situation, we're said to admire our number 5's French compatriot, in the event he departs next summer. Stay tuned for all the latest Liverpool transfer news, match updates, and breaking stories. Our second news is transfer rumors. Fernandes frustrated at Man United, Real Madrid step up Enzo pursuit. Kobbie Mainoo, Rodri, Joe Gomez and Bernardo Silva are among the names in today's gossip. Aston Villa and Newcastle United have both emerged as suitors for Manchester United midfielder Kobbie Mainoo ahead of the January transfer window. Bruno Fernandes is frustrated with his role as a deeper midfielder under Ruben Amorim, although he is not believed to have any personal issues with the Man United manager. Emiliano Martinez remains a key transfer target for Man United, who are expected to reignite their pursuit of the Aston Villa goalkeeper in 2026. A January deal could be difficult, however. Chelsea are readying a bid of €90 million, £78.5 million, $105.5 million, for Bournemouth forward Antoine Semenyo after his electric start to the season. Juventus are nearing an agreement over a new contract with winger Kenan Yildiz and are confident of fending off interest from Arsenal and Chelsea. Tottenham Hotspur have been scouting Lazio centre-back Mario Gila alongside Brighton and Hove Albion, Crystal Palace and Everton. Joe Gomez is not expected to push for an exit from Liverpool in January despite his limited opportunities. The AC Milan target remains important as cover in Arne Slot's side and is satisfied with that role. Leeds United hope to sign Inter midfielder Piotr Zielinski in January. The Serie A side are hopeful of agreeing a permanent sale, but Leeds want either a loan or a free transfer. Joshua Zirkzee is open to remaining in the Premier League ahead of a likely departure from Man United. Both Everton and West Ham United have registered their interest. Barcelona hope to sell centre-back Ronald Araujo in the January transfer window. Chelsea, Liverpool and Tottenham all remain interested after summer approaches, while Paris Saint-Germain have also joined the race. Scouts from Real Madrid watched Chelsea midfielder Enzo Fernandes during the Blues' 2-1 win over Liverpool and were left adamant a deal should be struck. The Argentina international wants to play for Real Madrid, but his price tag of €130 million, £113.4 million, $152.4 million, is a huge problem. The agent of Man City midfielder Bernardo Silva has spoken with both Barcelona and Juventus over a free transfer in the summer of 2026. There is also interest in the Portuguese star from Saudi Arabian side Al Ahly, Al Nassr and Al Qadsiya. Real Madrid are looking to loan striker Endrick out in January to avoid stunting his development. Among his suitors are Real Madrid, Valencia and West Ham. President Florentino Perez has now formally ruled out a move from Real Madrid for Man City midfielder Rodri, fearing his high price tag cannot be justified given his recent injury struggles. Stay tuned for all the latest Liverpool transfer news, match updates, and breaking stories. Our third news is Marc Guehi is in demand. Bayern Munich hold talks with Crystal Palace star and aim to beat Liverpool, Barcelona and Real Madrid in race to land defender on free transfer. Crystal Palace captain Marc Guehi saw a proposed summer transfer to Liverpool fall through at the 11th hour last month. But rather than simply resurrect a deal that would see him switch to Anfield by next summer at the latest, the England international looks set to have a number of other high-profile clubs to choose from, including Bayern Munich as they make their own move. Concrete interest from Bayern. According to Sky Sport Germany's Florian Plettenberg, Bayern are already, concretely, looking at a move for Guehi. Senior sporting executive Max Eberl is described as a big admirer, and early-stage talks with the players' representatives are said to have already taken place, establishing Bayern's serious interest in taking Guehi to the Bundesliga and gauging the response from the other side of the table. Guehi's contact situation unresolved. Although Guehi has been widely praised for how he has handled himself in recent months, as opposed to the transfer-forcing tactics employed by the likes of Alexander Isak, Victor Gyökeres and Jon Wissa during the summer window, his days at Crystal Palace still appear numbered. His contract is due to expire at the end of the current campaign and the Eagles have arguably lost their best chance to command anything close to a reasonable and fair transfer fee for him. Selling in January, due to his contract have just a few months left to run by that stage, is unlikely to bring big money because it makes more financial sense for suitors, unless desperate, to wait until July. January also brings something else into play because, from New Year's Day, Guehi would be able to enter into a pre-contract agreement with an overseas club that locks in a free summer transfer. That is something that Liverpool will want to avoid, as it theoretically gives Bayern an advantage. Plettenberg also names Barcelona and Real Madrid, both in need of defensive reinforcement, as other rival suitors that stand to give Guehi a plethora of incredible options, familiar faces in Munich. Were Guehi to choose Bayern, it wouldn't be a complete jump into the unknown, despite leaving the home comforts of English football and the Premier League for Germany and Bundesliga. Star winger Michael Ollis was a teammate of Guehi's at Crystal Palace for 3 seasons, from when they both joined the Eagles in the summer of 2021, until Ollis was sold to Bayern in 2024. Guehi also plays alongside chief Bayern goalgetter Harry Kane for England. Then there is Bayern coach Vincent Kompany, a Manchester City player for the best part of a decade, before 2 years in charge at Burnley. Guehi will additionally have come up against both Luis Diaz, signed from Liverpool in July, and Nicholas Jackson, on loan from Chelsea. Our fourth news is Liverpool news. Mohamed Salah slammed by Premier League icon as star sent reckless verdict. Liverpool will have to sit on their 3-match losing streak for almost 2 weeks due to the international break, with some of their stars coming in for damning criticism. Liverpool are in the unfamiliar position of being on a 3-match losing streak across all competitions. Despite a stellar start to the season that saw the reigning Premier League champions rattle off 7 wins in a row, Arne Slot's side have unravelled as of late. Their first loss of the season came at the hands of Crystal Palace, with Eddie Nketiah's last-minute winner handing the Eagles a thrilling 2-1 victory at Selhurst Park. The disappointed was compounded last week when they fell to a 1-0 defeat to Galatasaray in the Champions League. With the opportunity to bounce back against Chelsea this past weekend, the Reds were as dismal as they were in their prior 2 losses, as Esteveo's stoppage time strike earned a 2-1 win for the Blues at Stamford Bridge. Not only is it the first time in Slot's Liverpool tenure that he's lost 3 on the bounce, but it's the first time in his managerial career where he's had to turn around fortunes following a run of 3 consecutive defeats. The criticism towards the Dutchman has been hefty, but some was saved for Mohamed Salah and some of his teammates as Mirror Football takes a look at all the latest news coming out of Anfield. The Egyptian great has just 3 goals to his name in 10 games and has scored just 1 in-play goal in the Premier League this season, which was in the Reds' opening day victory against Bournemouth. While the lack of end product from the 33-year-old is a cause for concern, it wasn't where Wayne Rooney focused his criticism on when discussing the 2-time league winner. Speaking on The Wayne Rooney Show, the Manchester United icon accused Salah of leaving his teammates out to dry against Chelsea. "I think top players have a bit of an ego, and Mo Salah has been one of the best players in the league for a long time," the 39-year-old said. "I think the last week has shown something. When it's going well and you're scoring goals and winning games, it's great and the team will put up with that, but over the last week, I would question his work ethic. We know he doesn't always get back and defend as much, but in the Chelsea game his fullback was getting torn apart and he was watching. He's not getting back and helping, and players like Virgil, Van Dijk, and the leaders in the dressing room should be telling him, you need to help out. That was a worry, and I think he has looked a bit lost over the last week." Connor Bradley, reckless claim. Despite a summer of mass spending where Liverpool forked out over £450 million on new talent, the right-back position has been an issue. Stay tuned for all the latest Liverpool transfer news, match updates, and breaking stories. Our last news is Arne Slot sent major warning over Mohamed Salah amid Liverpool woes. Liverpool have hit a slump in form as of late, losing 3 consecutive games across the Premier League and Champions League, and Paul Scholes has picked out a problem that he sees in talisman Mohamed Salah. Paul Scholes believes that Mohamed Salah has been making the wrong decisions for Liverpool as of late, as the Reds hit a rough patch. While Arne Slot was able to guide the Reds to a Premier League title last season, his team have shown major weaknesses at times this term. At the time of writing, Liverpool currently sit second in the league standings, a point behind Arsenal after 7 games. However, they have been unable to secure a win in their last 2 outings in the English top flight, while also suffering defeat in the Champions League in the interim. The Anfield side suffered a 2-1 defeat to Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park last weekend, before falling to Galatasaray in a 1-0 defeat on Tuesday. Liverpool also returned from Stamford Bridge on Saturday without a point to show for their endeavours, after being dealt a crushing 2-1 loss to Chelsea, and while plenty of supporters, and pundits alike, have picked problem with a leaky defence, following lackluster displays from the likes of Milos Kerkez and Ibrahima Konate, as well as Florian Wirtz struggling to find his footing in the English top flight. Scholes has called out Salah for the part he has played. Speaking on the good, the bad and the football alongside Nicky Butt and Paddy McGuinness, the ex-Manchester United midfielder said, "He's still playing in the same position, but he just seems to be making the wrong decisions, more often than not. There's a couple of times, if you remember last year, look, he scored loads of goals, but a lot of the time he cutting in from that right-hand side, his left foot, and he's playing some great balls into people to just tap in. There was a couple of instances on Saturday. He's cutting inside. He's ballooning the ball over the bar." But then added, "They're going in top corner last year as well. When he comes inside that left foot, you think he's hitting that top corner. He had 3 or 4, on Saturday, and he's hitting like 20, 30 feet over and you're thinking, he's just off the boil. Salah proved to be one of Liverpool's most valuable assets last season, with 29 goals and 16 assists in the Premier League alone. And while he has already scored 2, and set up a further 2 in the league this term, Scholes but believe that he isn't showing the same consistency. Elsewhere, Wayne Rooney has also questioned Salah's work ethic, taking a swipe at the Egyptian forward in the wake of their loss to Chelsea. He said, "With the players coming in, Alexander, Ekatike, and Wirtz, the money they have spent on them, what does Salah think now? Top players have an ego, and Mo Salah has been one of the best players in the league for a long, long time. I think the last week has shown that when it's gone well, you're scoring goals and you're winning games, it's great and the team will put up with that, but over the last week, I'd question his work ethic. I know he doesn't always get back and defend as much, but in the Chelsea game, his fullback is getting torn apart, and he's there, watching. Players like Virgil, Van Dijk and Alisson, who I know wasn't playing, but the leaders in the dressing room should be telling him, you need to help it. For me, that was a worry. He has looked a little bit lost the past week, in my opinion. It comes as Slot and Liverpool now have a 2-week international break to right 1 or 2 wrongs from as of late, before they return to Premier League action on Sunday, October 19th to face Manchester United in the Northwest Derby, a game that Salah will hope to make a mark in. Thanks for watching. That's all for today's transfer update. But the transfer window never sleeps, and neither do we. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for the latest Liverpool FC transfer news, rumors, and confirmed deals. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an update, because at LFC Transfer HQ, you'll never walk alone.